If you want to first pick, you ban the Shen right here, because it shuts down what you like to do.
Yeah, I would like to see a first pick in from Giants for the Azir, but PePiiNeRO so far hasn't played it and doesn't fit his playbook currently. If he has it in his reservoir,
3 weeks though.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something that has popped up that would definitely solve a couple of their problems. Next ban, of course, is going to be the Morgana. Same from first game. GODFRED has not gotten his hands on that for a long time since he had that run of like 5 wins. It's like, yeah, we're going to keep that away from you. Elise final ban, that's left a lot open now.
Again, I think Elise is a fantastic champion. I think it's better to first pick it than ban it on blue side. So it does tell me that we are looking at either Shen or Azir on the side of Giants. All seeing as now they have banned away that Lulu, they're obviously not going to first pick like a Maokai or anything. And we might see ROCCAT here reacting to it and saying, okay, if you first pick Shen, we cannot let you have Trundle as well, because then we have the 2v1 in the split push that is too strong for Giants. Instead, Sivir being first pick, you give Shen Azir, even Fizz. I mean, there's so many picks ROCCAT wants right now, and if the reason they don't take Azir here is because we haven't seen PePiiNeRO show it yet. So now you give them basically the 3 best champions ROCCAT could possibly get, and you first pick Sivir, which wasn't even a big part of ROCCAT winning the last game.
No, I don't know. I don't think it's because they're taking away from MrRallez. I think it's because that's the strategy we've seen so often from Giants, where they very early pick on their AD carry. They pick up the Sivir as well, which suits their compositions, but they gave so much away. Yeah,
we need to see some all-in composition now for Giants, like Diana mid lane, for PePiiNeRO, something that can really use that movement speed from Sivir. And you have one of these comps here, if you get to face like an Azir, where you have ways of getting to him in the backline. I mean, come on, we've seen Vi today from KT against SKT to try and reach that backline versus an Azir. We need to see something like that from Giants to justify the first pick Sivir. Because again, as you said, it's not really a takeaway from ROCCAT because they don't really care too much about it. They can even go Tristana themselves and go Corki if they want to, so you have that AD carry who can handle himself while Shen can TP away. But you now have that winning split push with the Fizz because Shen will always join in when needed. So we're definitely expecting Shen to go support for Vander one more time.
Yeah, okay, so Rek'Sai picked up with Alistar. That'll be coming in for Giants. Just standard AD carry, another standard jungle from Adryh. He actually changes it up a lot in his picks, basically picks something different almost every game. Again, it's going to be meta. Again, it's going to be Rek'Sai. From ROCCAT, they pick up the Gragas, again, coming in with the Corki. As we mentioned, MrRallez playbook, it's fine. He's got a whole lot of AD carries.
We just talked about how Corki will handle himself in the bottom lane, so Shen is free to go wherever he wants. And also Corki, after level 6, will do more than fine into the Sivir. It's one of the reasons Sivir has fallen a little bit down their priority here in Europe, even though we saw 514. Obviously 515, she gets nerfed a little bit more. But it's due to the fact that her laning phase, once she hits level 6, she doesn't trade that effective into a lot of AD carries being played right now. She's still okay. I mean, she's always a safe option, basically. And she's always good at providing utility. I like this one, guys. Like, we just said it. Diana mid lane for PePiiNeRO. Nash's Tooth first item. It is insanely strong. We've seen Faker play. We've seen God reintroduce it over in the LPL. It is such a good pick in the mid lane. Once you get out of that laning phase, which is basically just farm fest for you, you're not really looking because you don't have any kill pressure pre-level 6. But then add in an Olaf. So there's a lot of things here that benefits a lot from movement speed. Azir would still most likely be the pick for Nukeduck to try and deny Giants is running straight at them. But suddenly Giants are packing a lot more punch right here. And if you cannot get engages with this kind of composition, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I like this a lot. And this is actually what we were talking about before these games even begun between ourselves. Gonna hold off with that for a second.
Fizz is still the flex pick, can still go mid for Nukeduck.
Shen, Gragas, there's the Gankplank lock-in coming in for the top lane. Probably going to be top lane. Steve is going to be picking that up. Again, is another adaptation from ROCCAT. Question is, can Steve make it work? Because Gankplank, he's hard.
It is hard to play. We have seen Soaz look fantastic on the Gankplank. Huni struggled in the final on the Gankplank as well. Normally, he would always be fantastic strong on basically every champion he's shown so far. But once again, the flex picks coming in here for ROCCAT, they're able to swap the Fizz into mid and take Gankplank, who does really well against Olaf in the early game. And then also, once we get a little bit further into the game, if Olaf goes for like a Frozen Heart, which he normally likes to do, Gankplank destroys him anyway, because you have that armor penetration on your E, your barrels, which is such a big part of your damage. And it is still a very snowball lane. I mean, if you get an early gank for the Olaf, he can take over that lane completely. But early on, it is good for Gankplank with the trades into melee champions. Fizz as well tends to do really well into melee matchups, where he can't really get poked out too much. So we're gonna have these all-in fights in both top and mid lane. That's gonna be very exciting to watch, and we should have a lot faster game now, a lot more fast-paced at least, compared to the last one.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these teams can really sit around and do nothing. You have to be aggressive. You have to try and get that advantage as we get into this one. And yeah, seeing that adaptation coming in from the Giants is pretty much what we wanted to see here, because that's what we wanted from game one, honestly. We wanted to see Spring Split Giants with the improvements they've made from summer, combine them. Will it blend? Let's see. Let's find out. We're about to get into this game. Hop on Twitter. Use those hashtags. GIA win. ROC win. We're about to find out who's going to take this game to Giants versus ROCCAT.
And it just showed when they first picked that Sivir. And we're like, guys, we are going to run at you. We're going to be a lot more aggressive now. We first picked this champion because we don't want to risk to take it away in first rotation, even though ROCCAT probably wouldn't have, seeing as there was Shen open, Fizz open, Azir open, and so on. But also the fact that we didn't get to see the Azir is simply because ROCCAT had the option with that last pick to counterpick one of the lanes. They got the top lane with the Gankplank, even though, again, it can snowball. RALEZ, though, is for now on Corki, safe pick, and he's going to walk straight into the push.
This I don't feel is going to work out too well for him in the near future. Will be putting up the heal, has been ignited though, still ticking down. Needs one more auto coming in. That's first blood over to the Olaf.
How would you ever think that's smart? Vander now is behind enemy lines. Doesn't flash.
Run, Forest.
He's on his way. Nukeduck is there looking scary, being like, come to Papa. And Vander is...
Give me that knockup.
Oh, no,
He's out of there.
He's safe. Rek'Sai would have been kind of weird to have the knockup as well early on. But RALEZ, I mean, what on earth are you thinking? Just sitting there being like, okay, guys, single AD carry. I'm just going to walk straight into this bush, into the enemy jungle. I have no clue who's there. And obviously gets punished. Gives up a kill. Uses heal. And the kill even went over to Olaf. I feel like we just talked about how this matchup up top can really snowball. Especially if Olaf gets a good start.
Funny that.
I don't think Werlyb could ask for much more.
And we're going to see both of the duo laners go into the top lanes. We are going to see that one-on-one. First off, we're going to see them...
more action.
First off, we're going to see the top laners just jungling with their junglers, of course. Vander and RALEZ are able to stop the Grump as well. And GODFRED and Adryh take a fair beating from that Grump as they back off to lane. So like, they'll get that one out to start off this laning phase. And PePiiNeRO back in the mid lane. Seeing this Diana, so beautiful.
Makes me so happy. Yeah, he's always been a good Diana player. Always been trying to introduce new builds as well on the side of PePiiNeRO. See, 50% win rate. Only played it twice, obviously, we have to say. This split. Saw it a bit more in the last one for him. And the thing about Diana is you can run teleport, which is so key in the mid lane, especially late on in the game when you become a very big split pushing threat. Nash's Tooth is what we normally see. And then one-on-one, you're just very, very, very strong. And then add in a global, combined with the Olaf global. You're trying to basically match what Vander is going to do here. So when he goes and TPs in on the Gankplank, well then PePiiNeRO is going to follow in as well. And then it's a mid lane versus support, which obviously is in favor of Giants later on in the game.
In theory, but yes, almost every single time. Frederick is picking up his next buff here. So yeah, what Giants have here is pop that Sivir ultimate, get onto the enemy team, murder them. And honestly, I like this a lot. As long as they don't make these early aggressive decisions that don't work out, but already they have that first blood because RALEZ walked into them. So they already have a good platform to build from.
And what we normally saw Giants do really well, if we look back at the Spring Split, despite them obviously not winning too many games, because they were so aggressive. Let's talk about it after, because that's a fight in mid.
Oh, the flash into the body slam as well. PePiiNeRO and Frederick dropping low, but so is Nukeduck. The flash into the taunt. PePiiNeRO is locked down into the body slam, getting CC'd for days. ROCCAT return with 2 fast kills.
So right here, Vander roams down from the top lane. At the same time, we have both junglers meeting each other in that mid lane. Just a flash body slam from Jankos and the damage from Nukeduck. Enough to win that trade. That's where you have to keep in mind, when you have teleport, you lose out on a combat summoner. So you don't really want to fight pre-level 6 as a Diana. You don't really have the damage for it. You don't have the summoner spell for it either. And yet Giants get in a 2v2 fight. Ends up losing it, and suddenly it's a fantastic start for ROCCAT, despite RALEZ face-checking down the bottom lane.
Yeah, the only big problem still is, of course, that Olaf has gone back and picked up yet another Durant, so has PePiiNeRO. And basically looking at the same sort of CS in the bottom lane as this wave resolves, it should be pretty much even between those two top laners. And yeah, that did not work out too well, but it's not going nearly as badly as last game in the early game.
Still, the way you want to play with Diana mid lane is you want to secure her lane by warding for her, so she can push it up and then back away from these fights, because she will have flash obviously in the early stages, and just let her get level 6. Then you might start looking to make some plays, but ideally you don't even want to try and one-on-one the Fizz right now. You want to farm with that Nash's Tooth, you want to aim for the fact that you can get the fast push going for yourself, and then use your TP global to make the plays. Giants, you can see this mid lane now here. Nukeduck playing super aggressive and still has flash.
Yeah, will be burnt away from Nukeduck. Frederick came in there, still has his own flash, so if he wants to go for a repeat gank, Nukeduck without that defensive summoner would be a fish in a barrel. A fizz in a barrel. Jankos in the top side of this mid lane. Vander there to counter as well.
Again, 0 wards for PePiiNeRO around this mid lane. If he walks forward to try and do anything, he has flash back up here and he stays alive.
Yeah, so both flashes down in this middle lane now from both of the mid laners. So again, repeat ganks can be a thing. Frederick is still hanging around the middle lane. GODFRED is now chilling in the mid lane as well. He's chosen this time to grace. What's Jankos doing? He's coming back as the middle lane. He's going to be clearing up this ward as well.
But because we saw Steve swap back to the top side, it has opened up for all the supports to roam. We see GODFRED mid lane, Vander still sitting mid because there's no flash in Diana this time around, still no wards, and this time PePiiNeRO, you're not getting out.
No, I've seen this one before, but last time he had flash, this time he doesn't. That means a dead PePiiNeRO.
And look at the whole setup from ROCCAT in the river. They got the pink wards here, so they know we can just walk into this mid lane, no flash Diana, it's such an easy kill. Frederick will spot one of them now. There's another one obviously in the bush closer to the mid lane, but ROCCAT playing really well around Nukeduck here in this Fizz. And just trying to shut down PePiiNeRO as early as possible. He's even going to have to go for early magic resist. So Abyssal Scepter rush from him, or at least the Negatron for start. But this sets him back quite a lot. You really want that Nash's Tooth. It's such a good item for you in the early game when it comes to just fast shoving these waves and get that passive proc as often as possible in the one-on-ones.
So Vander is really aggressively here, but there comes the Gankplank ultimate as well. He'll be going underneath the turret. That's a level 3 GODFRED. He's just wandered in. He'll have to go back to the turret where it is raining cannonballs, and Steve will pick up that kill from downtown.
And right here, ROCCAT again has been able to push in a wave. They are the proactive team when it comes to setting up a dive. We saw Jankos move down. Gankplank could even have TP'd, worst case, for a 4-man dive onto Giants. In the end, we just get the ulti from it. It's enough. They get a kill. They get to shove the wave in and now go back, and we see Werlyb has to try and catch waves. He didn't even get to recall here before. I don't think he had a lot of gold because he's already been back to base. And I had to use the TP to catch a wave on top side, because it's always ROCCAT making the first moves when they're swapping around the lanes and using these minion waves really well to set up these tower dives. And now you have a TP advantage as well, so you can honestly do exactly the same. And that's why Steve is going bottom side. They're going to shove in that Olaf again and say, if you stay on the tower, TP from Gankplank and we're going to kill you. Yeah,
ROCCAT has gotten a lot of advantages in this early game by making those proactive plays. And that's a question I had in the last game, because last time Giants just walked into ROCCAT, they picked up and they punished those mistakes.
Steve needs to be careful though.
ROCCAT is actually doing something.
Because now Giants are trying to do exactly the same thing. Look here, Rek'Sai. We saw the warp in place from Steve to try and spot it. Vander is only level 4, so he cannot help. So now Giants are trying to say, okay, we know what you're doing. And Steve... It's like, okay. First of all, didn't spot anything. Second one, though, he finds Rek'Sai, he backs away. So they're trying to mirror it. And this time, Giants are reacting and making it the right play.
Yeah, they should take this turret. Top side, not sure that's going to get reacted to, though.
Well, Werlyb just needs to back away from it. He knows the dive can happen. There's just been 3 guys from his team on the bottom side. There's a TP, so he cannot be greedy now. ROCCAT needs to pull the trigger instantly. And now Steve is, or Werlyb, sorry, he's running away.
Okay, he has to burn the Ragnarok to get away from that body slam from Jankos, but not going to be the end of the world. Didn't have to burn the Ghost at least. We'll be pushing up this top turret. That should go down before we get the reaction from GODFRED, or will it?
Well, he's on his way, so I think they might be able to defend the tower.
Yeah.
Drops very low though, still. They can keep pushing in. Frederick showing himself. I like the ward in the lane from ROCCAT. That just spotted Frederick here to see when are they coming from base. We can see the ward here on your screen. They saw GODFRED, they saw Frederick. They know how many guys on the top side now, because you have vision of Diana and of Sivir. so they know they have a lot of information. It's a 3 versus 3, but you got the range advantage and the TP advantage.
Cannonballs are coming down. Jankos coming in from the sidelines. There's Steve as well. Flash comes into the body slam, does not connect onto Olaf. Meanwhile, Frederick is trading up against Vander. He's definitely winning that fight, but now he wants to try and get out of it. Jankos coming forwards. Did use his ultimate there, didn't get a whole lot from it. Werlyb just coming in from the sidelines, gets blown up. Frederick looking for the same fate, will be chomped and eaten for the double kill coming in for Nukeduck. Now GODFRED and PePiiNeRO still in this fight, turning around. Can PePiiNeRO get anything from this? He's completely out of mana and will pop one last Lunar Rush, but before he also bites the dust. That's a 3 for 0. ROCCAT taking control of this game.
We highlighted how big of a problem was that Werlyb had to use the TP defensively, and he went to the lane where ROCCAT was swapping to anyway to shove it down. So there was a TP advantage. It meant 5 guys from ROCCAT could join. Adryh is doing his best here, trying to get down a second tower, at least on the bottom side. But that was a lot of kills on the side of ROCCAT. Werlyb just had to back away and say, fine, we trade the bot lane tower for the top lane tower. It's okay for my team. Don't stay around it. And then the rest of Giants joined in. Gave very false sense of security that they could defend. But they were down a man, and it was too easy for ROCCAT just to poke down the tower anyway and then go for the kills. Giants just had to back away from it, give it over, say we trade towers, it's okay.
Yeah, but that was not okay. And they did pick up that bottom turret, but still, PePiiNeRO 0-3 is not having the best of early games. Has gone for that blasting one as well, so it looks like we are on track for that early Abyssal. Meanwhile, Nukeduck has picked up the Lich Bane in full 3-0-3. He's in extremely good shape. He would be able to deal basically anyone from Giants, even if they do have that split pushing pressure. ROCCAT have something to answer it. Even Steve at this point, 1-0-3, building towards that Triforce. Giants are going to struggle if they try to go for the 1-4 or even the 1-3-1.
And that's the thing as well, when you don't get that early Nashes on the Diana, your fast pushing ability just goes down, and therefore your split pushing becomes a lot less effective. So much of your damage comes in, especially later on in the game, from that passive. 0.8 AP ratio, if I remember correctly. It's fantastic strong ability to just constantly set and proc there, and obviously use it to push the waves. But that is going to be slowed down from PePiiNeRO, and obviously the fact that Giants just invested into that fight up top. Again, numbers disadvantage. Giants are not respecting it. It was the same in game 1, and that's why ROCCAT can punish them.
Adryh back in this bottom lane. Everyone has flipped. Everyone's back in the normal lanes. PePiiNeRO in the mid lane. Nukeduck has popped his ultimate and will jump into Frederick to damage him too. Nukeduck. The bait and switch.
Checking. What's going on? Oh,
what's going on?
Back again.
I'm good.
Don't want to join. Don't want to join. One of the strong things though about this Gankplank, how you can always assist these one-on-ones with your ulti. Coming steep though. Might get dove. Frederick's going in at least.
Yeah, that minion wave is dissipating, but Steve will flash away here, back underneath this turret, but Werlyb is there to meet him. Frederick will just back away, tanking that turret mid lane, just trading off a little as well. 1-0, another kill over to Giants.
And we got to see a play from Jankos now. Frederick shows himself mid, then top lane. The bottom side of the map should belong to ROCCAT then, but obviously you don't want to dive onto the Alistar. Couldn't get the play in mid. Ulti from Vander, just a few more seconds and he could have joined in to help Steve. Instead though, Giants using that timing really well. Get a kill, get a tower, and suddenly it's not all bad for Giants in this early game.
Vander getting control of this dragon, something you haven't mentioned yet. 13 minutes into this game, neither team has attempted the challenge for it. Every single one went to ROCCAT last time. But Giants should be able to contest at least a couple in the early game this time around. Maybe not this one.
Not this one, no. Dragon on the side of the ROCCAT. Love to see them just go super aggressive on PePiiNeRO though after that play top. You had TP ready for Vander. Jankos goes in, there's no flash on the Diana. It's a very easy dive for you to pull off and take mid tower after. But they played it super, super safe. Which, as we highlight again and again and again, is the style ROCCAT like to play. But it's not always the most effective style.
Yeah, and even if we go late here, ROCCAT, not too bad in this early game. Giants, last time they had lots of late game threats. And we only just started seeing that Adryh was putting on the damage as Tristana, never really quite got there, so ROCCAT were able to close this time. Finch has picked up, but Nukeduck has found PePiiNeRO here, pops the ultimate as well. But now the rest of the Giants is there to counter, but maybe not because PePiiNeRO is already dead. Vander comes into the fight. Werlyb's there with the Ragnarok. Now he has to back away. Steve popping down his ultimate, the cannon barrage raining down on top of those minions. Another 1-0 over to ROCCAT after that.
But again, this is what we mentioned, how ROCCAT can just keep going towards PePiiNeRO in the mid lane. Now that he's building towards Nashos, I think it is the right call. You need some defensive stats in the start against the Fizz because you are also getting targeted by the Gragas over and over. But again, it just delays how quickly he can become a split pushing threat. And then also, a thing to highlight with Giants composition. It's a comp that does really well if they're 5 together when the fight starts. So they use the Sivir ulti on the Olaf, so he gets sped up, so he gets to the backline. If he has to TP in the backline, it becomes a lot more difficult for Werlyb because the Giants lineup will most likely be fairly split up at that time, and he might never really benefit from Adryh's Sivir ulti. So now he TP'd in, obviously couldn't do anything because they are still behind, and they'd already lost PePiiNeRO in that fight.
Yeah, they need to just set up these fights just a little bit better because the composition, this is the composition I feel is tailored towards the Giants. It should
this is a Giants comp, 100%.
This is a Giants composition. Something we've seen a long time from them, but a long time ago from this team. But with the improvements they've made over the split, this is something, probably one of the best chances they can make happen with this composition. That was fantastic English. But Werlyb in the top lane has picked up the Black Cleaver here. Pretty standard for the Olaf currently, and would pretty much go tank from here on out.
Yeah, no real surprise from him. Always got to get that Black Cleaver under your belt. Still will be difficult for him to be solo split pusher because of Vander's ulti. And then there we go, see it in action.
Yeah, following after Werlyb, there comes the jump. The waters actually lands onto Werlyb as the Ragnarok comes down. Taunt comes across as well. Got the extra damage from the Urchin Strike. Frederick and GODFRED are here to counter. Nukeduck will be dropping low, but not before the Olaf goes down. 1-for-1 so far. PePiiNeRO comes into the fight, gets that shut down. Jankos following after PePiiNeRO. No team behind him though. And GODFRED is there to defend. So that was a 2-for-1 overall in favor of ROCCAT. And the bottom laners are just there, still trading away, taking those minion waves.
But we're 16 minutes in, 13 kills already. We see so many fights in the side lanes and in the mid lane. Over and over, we see ganks coming in this time. Werlyb is like, I can duel this guy one-on-one. He's like, oh wait, I forgot about Shen. Instantly has to run away, goes down because of it. He's obviously not very tanky with the Black Cleaver just yet. Right, Giants get 1 kill, still lose the trade. We're going to see this more and more. PePiiNeRO and Werlyb has to fight together if they want to win the side lanes for Giants.
In the mid lane, Vander almost caught out, but he's going to be back to base. 0-0-8. He's doing a lot in this game to assist his team. Has picked up the Kindle Gem and those mobility boots as well. He basically picked up a lot of items there. Mid lane, Giants are pushing this one in. There comes the cannon barrage coming in from GP. From the sidelines, Frederick is here. Jankos was looking for that engage to happen. And Nukeduck is still thinking about it, but now ROCCAT will back off to the turret once again.
Farmer Steve hit 500 silver coins for himself. Ooh. I would assume he's the Death's Daughter first upgrade. At least that's the best in terms of damage.
Yeah, we've seen other things
early on. We have seen, I mean, Fired Will came in from Huni as his first upgrade. Swords went Death's Daughter. Let's see what Steve goes for. Now Nukeduck is fighting again.
I mean, he got Adryh, but it was basically all in. There was no exit plan. It was like, I want Adryh.
If you are
cost
Fizz,
me everything,
though, but I think Fizz is probably one of the champions with the best scaling into late game. I'm fine taking 1-for-1 trades. PePiiNeRO now needs to be a little bit careful. Gragas is after him, but Cow is here.
Oh, knocked into the wall. Vander will be following up.
That wall didn't
Don't have a cow, man. And ROCCAT will be backing away once again, but still that 1-for-1, as you mentioned. Maybe scaling for Nukeduck a little bit better there. And Jankos will take away this crap. Mid lane pushing in. But so far we've accumulated a 2,000 gold lead for ROCCAT. They are behind in those turrets. They still have some to pick up. Frederick has found Vander. Werlyb is here as well, looking for an undertow. And doesn't quite find him just yet. Nice sidestep from MrRallez. And everyone goes back to more peaceful times.
For like a minute.
And then let's fight.
We're going to have someone all-inning once again. I mean, the comp from Giants is only going to do one thing. That's run at ROCCAT. Their comp as well, it's basically also just going to run at Giants in many ways. You don't have much use of a defensive Fizz. It has to go in towards that backline. You got to take down that one target for yourself. Gankplank is going to be the same deal. ROCCAT does have a little bit more range if we look at MrRallez and the barrels coming in for Steve. But obviously it's about setting up Nukeduck to dive in and one-shot a target. MrRallez and Adryh is what we mentioned as well in Champs. Like Corki, once he gets some levels under his belt, it's very difficult for Sivir to start trading back against him.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can do there. Meanwhile, Vander trying to clear out some of these tunnels. Maybe just gearing up because there is a dragon in 10 seconds and the dead Vander would not help that cause for ROCCAT. He's going to get over the wall. Max range on that Shadow Dash will get him to safety.
Oh! Snipe! RALLEZ tried to get in range for his heal, but wasn't close enough. In the end, Vander, it is not wise to invade into the enemy jungle on your own to set up wards. Bring a friend. You got the Gragas. He even has beer. Take him with you.
Bring it time, buddy.
Go on a picnic, you know, and that's some nice damage.
Oh, Steve has caught PePiiNeRO. You have nowhere to roam that cannon barrage. Werlyb now going for this fight. He's on Nukeduck. In comes with the reckless swing as well. Frederick and Adryh are going to eat RALLEZ alive. Meanwhile, Jankos going 1-on-2, but he can make this happen. He's Gragas, and now GODFRED is just in the middle of the wolf camp. He's going to try and get away. He's already popped his ultimate. Steve comes and flashes. Tries to get the chain, doesn't quite land it this time around. A 2-for-2 trade. This is so bloodthirsty from both teams. Mid-turret falls as well. These teams are just all over the place looking for fights.
Yeah, both teams kind of going for the same style. Just keep fighting, ignore your minion waves, ignore what's really going on in the map. Just take that fight. Giants invades it. This after killing Vander, remember. Meanwhile, though, Diana will die in the top lane. So it's on to Nukeduck first. Nice little dodge away from Frederick, so all the damage is gone now for Nukeduck, and Werlyb gets to sit in here with his ulti onto him. It's very tough to take him down, so to get the first kill. ROCCAT stays, want to fight more because TP from Steve. In the end, though, the mid tower goes down because the rest of Giants are like, okay, I mean, GODFRED can just run away with him. And Giants can be happy with that fight after getting mid tower as well.
Yeah, after the dust has settled, there was a lot that happened very quickly. But the second dragon went over to ROCCAT there. Only now a 1,000 gold advantage because the middle turret was also picked up by Giants while all that was happening. So now 4-1 in terms of that. So they have the gold going over to that side and also a bunch of map pressure.
Giants do have 2 people now in the side lane, so both building early magic resist. That really means it's party time for Steve. We saw the damage he had before in that 1-on-1. He has Trinity Force. He's going obviously towards the Infinity Edge as a second item. He will destroy them. So both PePiiNeRO and Werlyb kind of want to face the Fizz with the early magic resist, but then again, as we mentioned, it's about them fighting together. If a 1-on-1 breaks out, the other guy have to teleport in because Vander will join on the Shen, and if you don't, it's a 2v1 in favor of ROCCAT that they are going to win. RALLEZ and Adryh gonna have this crazy, awesome fight as AD carries where all you basically do is you clear minion waves. And you look at each other and you're like, I'm gonna kill these minions before you, and then you stick in that mid lane for most of the time and you join team fight.
Oh, body slam flash. Good Casca as well. Knocks Adryh into the team, and he'll also get CC'd down by Vander. RALLEZ will find that first kill. PePiiNeRO now following up into Vander. He'll flash away over the wall. GODFRED may be caught out, but meanwhile, Steve is there to meet PePiiNeRO. Pacing down those barrels. We'll get him with the second one. What are you gonna do against the Parrot? Not a whole lot. Werlyb now trying to back away. We'll have to use a defensive Ragnarok to get out of there. And a 3-0 over to ROCCAT once again.
This is such a different game compared to game 1 where both teams kind of wanted to run away from each other. Super slow pace now. It's all in compositions. Nukeduck on Fizz in the mid lane. Of course, the Diana PePiiNeRO that got shot down in the early game. And also Steve in that top lane. He's missing a few belts here and there. We haven't really seen their spot on ulti yet. But we see the damage he can deal. Whenever you reset that passive in these 1-on-1s, it does so much damage. And as we mentioned, nobody's really stacking any armor against him.
Yep. Well, let's see. He has true damage from the passive.
What if it's TP?
Whoa.
Is that for the Rift Scuttler?
It is.
Worth it.
All right.
Gotta get that Rift Scuttler.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Deficio approved play. Take down this crab.
Come on.
Take him a while. I want GODFRED to come in and headbutt it. Didn't quite get it that time.
Not sure what else, if he was expecting someone from ROCCAT to move towards the top side and intercept them. That's very key, because now ROCCAT will have that 2v1 advantage with the Shen. Fizz can split push, Gankplank can split push, Shen will join in, we know it, and Giants will not be able to respond with it. Against it. The point is, there's going to be more fights very soon, but they should go in favor of ROCCAT because of what just happened. Done deal. Let's go home.
Done. Let's get out of here. But we were talking about it earlier. We may talk about it later because Nukeduck and PePiiNeRO are in the top lane.
But this is not smart now for PePiiNeRO. He does not want to take this fight.
He's
because Vander is there.
And he's gone.
He's gone. Okay, smart enough from PePiiNeRO. So like, guys, I'm not going to take this one. We have taken a few stupid fights before. This time around, we played safe. But it gives the map pressure to ROCCAT. They're the ones pushing down the waves now, a bit like in game 1. So they have the free passage into the enemy jungle. And it becomes very easy for them now to start getting a lot of information on, okay, where's ROCCAT? Where they're sending their members? Can we instantly now rush mid lane and maybe get a few hits on a tower? Or do we find people out of position, like Adryh?
Oh, that works too. ROCCAT over the wall, Adryh, but you can't run from the ship. Or maybe you can. Keep on running, Adryh. You can make it. Oh! Once again!
But ROCCAT is breaking the rule. The 2 AD carries are supposed to only kill the minions in the mid lane and about the side lane.
The truce was broken. Oh well. Got 300 gold, worth it. Steve clearing out these bottom minions, still building his way to the Infinity Edge, and as I was trying to say, or maybe will be pushed back once again as Werlyb finds him. But Steve, I'm going to say quickly, he's picked up the Fire of Will upgrade. Fire at Will. There we go. Done. Now into a fight.
Less damage in the early stages. Now Frederick is getting jumped on.
Well, he's on the receiving end of that damage from Gankplank. Gets blown up by that barrel, but it's Nukeduck the one coming in for the kill. And now he goes into the Zhonya's, but will quickly be taken down. Jankos tanking up this turret, but he'll be backing away. And that was 1 casualty onto the team of Giants. But ROCCAT do have to back off. They are fairly chunked.
Still, again, though, for ROCCAT, they can go for these aggressive tower dives because they always seem to have more members ready. This time, we had Adryh dying, obviously, in their little AD carry trade, joined in by multiple members of ROCCAT suddenly. So they could go for another dive, get at least 1 kill, and then back away. Best case for ROCCAT, you even get the tower. Meanwhile, Dragon is spawning, even though we don't really care about Dragon today. We care more about the fights, at least in this game. Last game, we cared a lot about Dragon.
Yeah, ROCCAT did, for certain. 5 dragons, plus all those barons. Gankplank just said something. He just brought up in the upgrade. We'll find out what that is in a second. Werlyb, he's big into those crabs, man. Picked up another crab.
What about that fire at will? Anyway, the reason I think Dev's daughter is better at level 6, or well, early stages, is when you have the rank 1 ulti, getting the extra hits, the 6 extra hits, doesn't really do that much in terms of damage, compared to getting that massive true damage hit down the middle. So later on, Fight Will is better. Like once we get like rank 3 ulti for sure, getting multiple hits from it is a lot better. But obviously that's going to be a while. Steve is only level 13 at this point. A while, I mean it's going to be a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Now Nukeduck, he's looking to fight because Vander is ready to join in.
Oh, Vander used his ultimate onto Nukeduck.
Too early. Should have saved it. Should definitely have saved it.
But PePiiNeRO has used the flash. That's what ROCCAT got from that one.
And you still have TP advantage on Steve, so he's topside pushing in. ROCCAT can just not fight here. Delay Giants around it, because then top tower goes down. You can see how they're giving up this dragon to rush that tower and say, you know what? We're not aiming for 5 dragons anyway here. We want to get more gold, because taking out top lane tower really also opens up that jungle, so we can start setting up for Baron instead. And now all they got to do is make sure they don't fight on the bottom side for ROCCAT. They might even be able to push him for another tower. They have insane damage. Trinity Force, passive from Gankplank, his own Trinity Force. Vander is buying time for the team.
Yeah, MrRallez just interrupted both of those recalls, and then Giants were like, let's go all in for Vander, but you just lost top lane. Frederick now coming in, GODFRED looking for the engage, but there's not a whole lot of members there because they were all stopped by Vander, and now ROCCAT will just back away.
2 games in a row now, we see Giants really struggle with setting up your TP lane before Dragon spawns. PePiiNeRO teleport the entire time. Why was he bottom lane? Send him to the top side, catch that wave in time so ROCCAT could not make that play, because they're even getting bot lane tower out. They're just running around the map, and Giants again is stepped behind them.
Well, getting nailed down by those barrels. GODFRED, very angry, he's going to smash the ground. But Jankos will get out of there. Steve still has all of his summoners, still has his ultimate as well. He's well on the way to getting his 3rd upgrade. And PePiiNeRO sitting this top push again. A new challenger will approach, and he will decide whether he wants to face them or not.
Vander's ult is not ready, so he gets a one-on-one against Steve, if it is, but he still has 0 armor. So 1 crit from Steve will basically decide the one-on-one. In case it does happen, it seems like PePiiNeRO is just not going to give away any vision or information on him being topside before he needs to. He's still waiting.
The patient hunter. Patient bear will wait.
He's looking at all these minions kill each other.
It's what NASA's players do. They look at the minions.
I'm pretty sure they would last hit the minion.
No, when they drop low. But PePiiNeRO's not doing that either.
It's going to be Nukeduck though, with
it's
Vander.
hobby.
TP is ready for Werlyb and Steve. We can get a 3v2 up in this top lane very quickly if PePiiNeRO goes in for it. He's gone. He's going in.
Oh, Nukeduck dropping low.
Where's
and there's
Vander?
the ultimate coming in.
Oh, Vander didn't get
the
to ulti before.
barrage, but the true damage doesn't connect. Now the teleport's coming in. Werlyb's going to be there first. Nukeduck gets away with the kill. Werlyb looking for this kill onto Nukeduck. He finally gets him with a reckless swing, but 2 for the price of 1. ROCCAT will take that trade.
We keep highlighting this Shen, how it shuts down what Giants really wants to do. And yet they still go for that one-on-one fight. Had it been against Steve, it could have been more acceptable because it would have been the teleport you were fighting against, but now you're fighting against Nukeduck. So of course Steve joins. It's a 3v2. They win. Now we get another fight around Baron, where ROCCAT once again will be one more member than Giants.
Vander is ready for that taunt. He connects it. GODFRED comes into the pit, looking for that steal. Can El Bandito do it? He goes into the pit. He may get nuked down. Not today. Jankos will smite that one away. And Frederick is just kind of awkwardly stuck in the Baron pit. Followed after. Everyone's going to flash after him. They need to take him down. And he's got gun. Adryh.
True Western style, though. El Bandito is no more. Steve shoots him down
with a pistol.
Wins the duel. Takes the Baron. Maybe together with Jankos a little bit. Anyhow, Giants keep getting in these bad positions or situations which are often forced by themselves. Funny enough, and ROCCAT is reacting really well. They get the advantage from it, being at Baron, being at a tower. Before when they're running around on the map here where PePiiNeRO wasn't there to defend away from teleport and so on. The fights top lane. I love the fact that we can almost talk about them 2 minutes in advance. When a missed teleport comes in, we're like, okay, here's what's going to happen very soon because Giants will take the fight. And boom, and here's Baron.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the time, okay, Giants been making a couple not so great decisions, but ROCCAT as well have made some really good decisions. Yep. And good reaction plays as well, as you mentioned, with that Shen.
You are a team that wins games when you can split push with Werlyb. Now you add in PePiiNeRO to the list with the Diana, and the Shen is just too annoying for you to deal with. Unless you can first pick it yourself, you have to ban it away.
Oh, mid turret goes down. Adryh and Frederick may be caught down in the bottom lane. Good knock-up by GODFRED. It's only going to buy a couple more seconds for Frederick. He'll be dropping down as well. Barrels come up. Looking for the explosion. Doesn't quite connect. PePiiNeRO gets stunned up by Jankos. And that's the middle turret going down. The middle inhibitor is well going down. The top inhibitor is the next in the sights of ROCCAT. Not sure if Giants should be fighting over this one. A 5 versus 4 in favor of ROCCAT. Jankos just get tagged by the undertow, but ROCCAT just running rampant through this base, and now they just need to go bot lane and push that one in as well.
Yeah, outside of some early fights with ROCCAT where we maybe could question them a little bit, they have once again been in control.
Yep.
They're out-rotating Giants on the map. PePiiNeRO jumps in behind. Guys, we need another fight, and it's going to happen.
He has Zhonya's this time, so he can Zhonya's up. There it is. Steve comes in with the oranges, and PePiiNeRO flashes over the wall. GODFRED and the rest of the team is dealing with Nukeduck, who flashes away. Frederick jumps over the wall with the tunnel. Jankos trying to get in range, does have the cask as well. There's the ultimate, knocks Werlyb into the team, gets immediately taunted. Follow up onto Adryh as well, he goes down. Goodbye PePiiNeRO, make that a 3-for-1. Frederick recalling in that bush, he'll be going back to base, but this is 2 versus 4.
And they're down for 40 seconds. Is there any minions? They're coming now, the super minions in mid lane. ROCCAT looking to close out another game here. A lot more action than the last one.
Oh yeah, and that was all down to the compositions, how Champion Select played out. But either way, ROCCAT secure yet another win, taking the first, the second Nexus turret, and the Nexus itself. This is ROCCAT taking Game 2 in this best of 5 up against Giants.
It's almost hard to say this, but Giants, this composition they ran here is what we expected to see more from them. Kind of trying to adapt a little bit, and a pick like Diana coming back into the meta would be huge for PePiiNeRO. But it shows to me that the problems they had back in spring when running these comps are still there. Yeah. That's what we wanted to see. Had they improved on those things? Were the early game a lot better? Were the decision making a lot better when having these all-in compositions? The answer from this game is no. Because what they did in spring was that they would have these insane early games like this one, where we have like 20 kills to 20 minutes, constant fighting going on. But Giants would often end up giving away maybe 15 kills to the other team, or let's say they give away 13 kills to the other team and only get 7 themselves. So they would still fall behind in gold. They would always forget about the towers, and the towers would drop, and they would fall really far behind. So despite there was a lot of action, a lot of kills, it didn't give them a lot of wins.
Yeah.
We thought that was gonna be better. Now with GODFRED in the team, we've seen improvements. Clearly, we're still back to the spring split style. And that's why we get these games here where it doesn't look like Giants really say, okay, what's going to happen the next few minutes? Okay, where do we need to move our teleport so we are ready for, let's say, the dragon objective here? How do we stop this wave that's building up on the top side? They don't really do that in advance, so they have to react on the fly. And that's where it becomes so impossible, because ROCCAT is just one step ahead of you. They get that kill in a one-on-one, and they get that free tower because you weren't in the right position. They have the Shen coming in a split-pushing situation. And they're just always a member, or two members even, ahead of Giants.
So what we have seen now is Giants made an adaptation in picks and bans, which we kind of expected. In-game didn't make a whole lot of adaptation. Now, what do they do from here? Because they've tried these two different compositions. Neither of them really worked out. We saw against H2K, the poke also didn't work out. What else do they have in their playbook? What can they make? What can they do here that will work against ROCCAT? Well, what do they have left? Like, where can they go from here?
It's hard to say if it will work for them, but I think they can still stick to the style we just saw here. And then talk about what were some of the problems, can we use our teleports a lot more effective, and how do we make sure PePiiNeRO doesn't get shut down in the start. You don't have to gank for him, you secure vision for him. You have a Rek'Sai as well to spot people moving around. They didn't use it, they got early fights, the Diana lost its flash, and then ended up getting camped, basically. Yeah,
getting camped and ultimately dying a lot. But let's check in again on Twitter, where we asked which strategies you thought would rule the regional qualifier. And at Kenny Mars writes, Gankplank siege or protect the cog vein coming in.
Well, we saw the Gankplank.
Well, it works pretty well.
Not a whole lot of siege, though, in this game. It is a viable strategy, for sure. He does work really well in different kind of compositions. This one here, he was more of a split pusher. And because there was no armor being stacked on the side of Giants at all, he just got to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, but we could still see the cog vein coming in from MrRallez and ROCCAT. That's also something they can bring up, but they haven't needed to yet. So something that we could see in the future. But we do need to take a quick break as Giants look to stay alive in Game 3. Our coverage of the 2015 regional qualifier continues when we return.
I like how you wanted to add that.
Who's going to take this game to Giants versus ROCCAT?
That's a fight in mid.
Oh, the flash into the body slam as well. PePiiNeRO and Frederick dropping low, but so is Nukeduck. The flash into the taunt. PePiiNeRO is locked down into the body slam.
That's me. Can we dive them? We can. Get the
okay, just tank some. I ult.
I tank. I'm on Alistar.
Turret down. Just go for den.
Nice. Push out top.
Max range on that shadow dash will get him to safety. Oh! Snipe! But the true damage doesn't connect. Now the teleport's coming in. Werlyb's going to be there first. Nukeduck gets away with the kill. Werlyb looking for this kill onto Nukeduck. He finally gets him with the swing. This is ROCCAT taking Game 2 in his best of 5 up against Giants.